There is every suggestion that a pathway of adventure itself is the best pathway to romantic attractiveness. We know this in some ways in a very blunt manner. The Google boys, the engineers who are too naively oriented toward imperial truths, to note when they're being politically incorrect. They wrote a great book called A Billion Wicked Thoughts, which I really like. It's a very good book. And it's engineers and psychologists, and so they'll say all sorts of things that no one with any sense would ever say that happen to be true. And they studied a program of pornographic fantasy, and women like pornographic stories, not images. So women's use of pornography is literally who are the main protagonists in female pornographic fantasy: pirates, werewolves, vampires, surgeons, billionaires, Tony Stark. And so the basic pornographic narrative is Beauty and the Beast. Those 5 categories: terrible, aggressive, male, tameable by a right relationship, had heroic attraction. And so I would say to young men who, and I have many times, to young men who locked in isolation, it's first of all, join the bloody club, because the default value of 15-year-old male on the mating market is 0. And the reason for that 0 is a bit of exaggeration, but not much. And the reason for that is, well, what the hell you do know? You're not good at anything. You have potential and maybe plenty. And hopefully that will be made manifest. But you should be all upset because you're the same loser as everyone else your age has always been since the beginning of the time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to any uploaded, well, the latest content. Your support helps us channel grow and brings more exciting contents your way. You might ask, well, what should I do about it? The answer is get yourself together, stand up straight with your shoulder back, take on some adventure, find your calling, abide by your conscience, put yourself together and you will become attractive. Look, we know this is true. The correlation between male sexual opportunity and relative masculine status is about 0.6. That's higher than correlation between intelligence and academic achievement. I don't think that there is a large bigger correlation between two independent phenomena in the entire social science and health literature than the correlation between relative male social status and reproducive results. It's by far the most fundamental determinant. It's a loop. Men are motivated by it. It contains social status because it confers upon them reproducing success. And that's not only cognitively but biologically. I'll give you an example of this. There is a documentary I watch from time to time which I think is the most brilliant documentary I've ever seen. It's called Crumb. And it's a story of underground cartoonist Robert Crumb, who is in high school, was a category of male for whom a date was not only not likely but unimaginable. So he was at the bottom of the bottom rung. Almost all the reaction he got from females wasn't just no. It was like, are you out of your mind? With that contempt. And then he became successful. And so documentary is super interesting because it tracks the other psychology of sexual fantasies because he was bitter and resentful. And if you want to understand the psychology of serial sexual killers and like, and you watch Crumb, you'll find out a lot more about than anybody with any sense would want to know. But then he makes his transition, partially because he does take the heroic adventure path. And he actually has a family and children. And he's actually a partly functional person as opposed to his brothers, one of whom commits suicide and one of whom is literally a repeat sexual offender. It's a brutal documentary, but what he did in his adolescence after being rejected, he was found what he was interested in. He was a very good artist. He was a very good interest in music. And he started to pursue those single-mindedly and he becomes successful. And as soon as he becomes successful, and the documentary tracks his beautifully, he's immediately attractive to women. And then you might ask too, even if you're cynical, why do I have to perform for women? And that answer is that to that it's something like, why the hell you should they anything to do with if you're useless? They're gonna have infants. You don't need another one. Partially the reason that women are hyper jumps, unless they want males who are of higher status than they are, it's because they're trying to reduce their reproductive burden, and it's substantial. I mean, the female of any species is the sex that devotes more to the reproductive function. That's more fundamental definition. That's chromosomes differentiation. It's not taken to its ultimate extreme with humans. And so, of course, women are gonna want someone around that's useful, because the cost of sex for them is 18-year-old period of dependency with an infant.